Shadow and Bone is Netflix's best binge watch since Bridgerton dropped season 1. Everyone has traded an obsession for Regency-era gossip for Russian fantasy magic. Now that the first season ended on that chilling cliffhanger, it has left everyone on the internet with the same terrifying question. What exactly comes next?
Well, is it heavy? Is it large? Is it worth more than $1 million on the black market?
So we need to talk about that finale. Obviously, spoiler warnings from here on out. After an entire season of Elena and Mal pretending that they were just friends and weren't actually in love with each other, the pair finally admitted how they truly felt. I mean, you just know that every single person that knew them talked about it constantly. I definitely would. The pair managed to come to grips with their feelings, and all it took was nearly being decimated by the Black Heretic to do it. General Kirigan ended any chances of a continuing love triangle with Elena when he brutally bonded the stag's amplifier into her collarbone. He then took her into the fold in order to use his powers and hers to destroy his enemies. Then she overcame his control by proving the stag selected her all along, and Mal beat him up, leaving him for the Volcra. Relationship goals, am I right? Of course, once they got out of the fold, it was clear that the two wouldn't get a happily ever after at all. In fact, their adventures are just beginning as the two go on the run from pretty much the entire world. As precarious a situation they are in, that's nothing compared to where we left poor Matthias and Nina. Personally, I was surprised by how much this couple won me over throughout the series. What started out as a really grim story about Nina captured by witch hunters turned out to be one of the strangest meet cutes I've ever seen. After their ship sinks, the pair goes on to go through a new version of the Jon Snow Ygritte love story. You just know that someone made a you-know-nothing Matthias joke on set. The pair saved each other's life again and again, which eventually led to friendship and more. Just as the two were starting to decide just how much they liked each other over waffles, the whole thing fell apart. Matthias was taken out by Grisha, who wanted his head. Instead, Nina went for the craziest option available to save his life. She sold him to some bounty hunters who were eager to get that big prize for scoring a slaver.
This was to save your life. They would have killed you.
Little did she know that she may have saved his life, but likely not for long. She tried to explain this to Matthias, but unsurprisingly, he did not trust her. The two end up exactly where they started, only with Matthias as the prisoner this time. Nina promises to save him, but honestly, we all know she was writing a check she had no idea how to cash. Luckily for her, she was on a ship with a crew of people who make a special business out of cashing exactly that kind of check. The Crows were the biggest surprise in Shadow and Bone for fans of the books. If you didn't know, they weren't involved in the Sun Summoner plot at all. They are from their own duology, starting with the Six of Crows. The show wisely figures out how to bring them into the main story by fabricating a plot where they had to kidnap Elena. This doesn't go well, but they eventually get a pretty decent payday once they join forces with Team Sun Summoner. After they help take down the Darkling, Elena gives them perhaps their biggest score yet. All they need to do is get a Heartrender and they'll be good to go. A Heartrender like Nina, perhaps? The crew from the first episode might not feel too much for Nina's tragic situation, but they've definitely grown over the course of the season. Inej especially found her faith once she saw her first glimpse of Elena's powers. Unfortunately, this was coupled with the fact that she betrayed her belief never to take a life several times over. Jesper may not have had quite the religious awakening, but he definitely went from like 98% wicked to like 93%. That's pretty good for a gunslinger. For Kaz, it's not about what kind of man he is at all. He made it clear that his only true loyalty is to Inej and Jesper. While he's technically their leader, he's proven that he'd follow wherever his crows go. So I'd say it's pretty likely that Nina found her heroes and the crows found their Heartrender. Things would almost be looking up if the Darkling hadn't pushed his way through the fold with a small army of Volcra trailing behind him. General Kirigan may have been the show's most fascinating character. While he seems like the world's best-looking general who only wanted to help Elena take down the Shadowfold, it was eventually revealed that he was the Black Heretic, who created the Fold in the first place. While this made him seem like your classically evil villain, the show threw another twist at us by giving us his tragic origin. He was a hunted Grisha who only wanted to live a peaceful life. Once the person closest to him was ended right before his eyes, he gave up on that whole peaceful thing. He went somewhat berserk with mass decapitations and delusions of grandeur. He started dabbling with powers he didn't understand and ended up summoning the Shadowfold, entrenching thousands in a darkness that turned them into vicious gargoyle-like creatures. From there, he waited through the decades until Alina Starkov proved she could make light with her fingertips. Finally, he had another immortal match who could join him in his quest to reshape the world. He plans to manipulate Alina seemed to be going so well until his own mother betrayed him, stealing Alina away as she was about to succumb to him. He hunted after her with passionate zeal, but it was already too late. His mother had revealed his true nature, pushing her right into the arms of Mal. He then gives up his quest to manipulate her, deciding that controlling her was better. Kirigan took down the stag and used it as an amplifier to control Alina's powers. While he still thought he had a chance to bring her around to his side, this brutal practice was the final straw between them. That's when he truly accepted his role as the Darkling, embracing that he was the villain. It was then that he set about his final victory. He took a small crew into the fold to demonstrate how it was utterly under his control. It could be destroyed by Alina's powers, and his could be used as the ultimate weapon. Just as he was about to utterly obliterate the rebels, setting about the first step towards remaking the world for Ravka and Grisha everywhere, Mal and the crows attacked, freeing Alina. He was then left to the mercy of his own Volcra. While it seemed like the Volcra put up quite the fight, the Darkling ended up overcoming them in the end. He figured out a way to control them and even bring them out of the fold. This officially makes him the most powerful being in the world, even more so than he already was. Hopefully the series will show how this battle took place. We still don't know enough about the lore behind the series. Things like the stag or the source of the Grisha's powers are still not entirely clear. I hope that the Darkling's control over the Volcra provides a springboard for the show to explore how exactly all this magic works. Now that the Darkling has reached a new form of power, it's likely that we will see more giant fight sequences where he fully explores just how much of a monster he's become. The only question is, will he go after Alina or Ravka first? I mean, he controls the Volcra now. He could probably do both simultaneously. I imagine that by Season 2's end, he will find himself as the king of Ravka, or at least the one controlling the king. Alina and Mal may find that their home country is now their greatest enemy. As far as what happens next, the best I can do at the moment is speculate. I've read quite a few YA books, so let's see how good I can do. So here we go, Shadow and Bone, Season 2. I think when we next catch up with Alina and Mal that they might be living the closest thing to a normal life they'll ever know. The smartest thing for the two of them to do is to lay as low as humanly possible. This means that we could see a few cute sequences where the two are playing house. That and likely making good on all those years of longing looks they've been giving each other for most of their lives. This happiness probably won't last long. I think they'll be attacked by bounty hunters or soldiers, likely injuring Mal. This will probably put the Darkling on their trail, leading to another hunt. This time, he will have his own powers, his monsters, and his Grisha to hunt them down. I don't think there's much of a chance they'll get away. I think things will likely go much better for our crows. Nina will get them to join her cause to save Matthias, and I don't know what could possibly be more exciting than the crows versus a crew of pirates. Please let there be another gunslinger who thinks that he can outshoot Jesper. Sure, it was cool to see him take down a Grisha, but I want to see him have a proper shootout. Once the crows free Matthias from his captors, chances are that won't fix anything just yet. He still thinks that Nina betrayed him and might not even accept her help. Maybe Inej will be able to figure out a way to talk to him in a way he'll understand. They are both very religious people who've gone through many changes recently. They might spark up an odd friendship. Mostly, I think Kaz will just be annoyed by pretty much everything. That does seem to be his lot in life, don't you think? Knowing Inej's feelings on the Sun Summoner, chances are whatever the next plot is, it will be cut short by news she's once again captured by the Darkling. She will likely convince Kaz to once again put the Crow Club out of his mind to go save the world. I believe by mid-season we'll see a reunion where instead of trying to capture Alina for themselves, they capture her in a rescue mission. Though for them it'll be more like a rescue heist. Luckily, they'll now have Nina and Matthias to help them. This time, things may actually go according to plan. Who am I kidding? Of course it won't. I think we'll then see all our heroes coming up with a plan to save Mal and stop the Darkling from whatever mad plan he has for the world next. I don't know how close I am to where the story goes from here, but seeing as I just started Book 2, Siege and Storm, I imagine I'm about to find out. As far as Season 2 goes, I'm pretty sure that's just the tip of the iceberg at this point. The creator has already discussed the plans to make 5 more seasons of Shadow and Bones just by itself. Outside of that, there's already been some discussion over an extended Grishaverse on Netflix. I imagine a series called Six of Crows will likely be announced by the end of the summer. We all want more of this show, right? Well, I think we're gonna get it. The only problem I have now is that I have to wait for Shadow of Bone Season 2. I mean, I guess I could just restart Season 1 again. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that.